while the violence that was unleashed against Black civil rights communities and demonstrators was extraordinary, we are again seeing a level of extrajudicial authoritarian tactics held up by the government as the very model of what law enforcement, particularly ICE and Border Patrol, should be, with the justification that people are somehow subhuman or terrorists or a threat to national safety.
Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller. All right, Miller, we got Haitians now on the gravy train, not just eating the dogs and cats anymore.
This is a perverted part of governance that Trump understands very well.
That they are going to come here and steal everything we have. Somalia has this giant coastline, and the only industry they have created after hundreds of years is piracy.
He gave Stephen Miller the green light to bring ultra-violence to immigrant detention.
I'm Michelangelo Signorelli, and I am with Joe Sudbay. We're both at SiriusXM.
And when that excess of violence manages to break through the jaded viewers of violence and actually offend white voters, as it did with the deaths of Alex Pretty and Renee Good.
There was an article in The Atlantic that published today about Stephen Miller and how he's supposedly been isolated a bit.
He understands the need to dial it back long enough to serve his own political ends.
You know, Stephen Miller's like an addiction for him. He understands he's bad for him politically, but it makes Trump really feel high, embracing Miller and that agenda, right? He can never quit him.
And resort to it again later at a point when it's more advantageous for him to try to shock once more.
This is the thing that drives Trump.
They're building concentration camps all across the country. They've got to fill them up. They're going to do something with them.
So now, for a while, at least ahead of the election, we're going to get more Tom Homan.
Last week, there was a conference in Arizona, and Tom Homan was there and had said, talking about mass deportation, you ain't seen shit yet.
And we're going to get less Stephen Miller.
A lot of people hate Stephen Miller inside and outside the administration because he is as diabolical and evil as he appears.
More than a year ago, I talked to Aaron Reichlin-Melnick, who laid out exactly this dynamic before Trump even returned to office.
I would say the Miller version would be Trump 2.0, and the Homan version is Trump 1.5.
Tom, how good a president is Trump?
Greatest president of my lifetime.
Yes, sir.
I got a question. Are you all legal?
It's hard to say whose vision is going to actually prevail. You know, personally, when we look at how governments execute immigration enforcement and how it has historically executed it, I think the Homan vision is maybe slightly more likely because that is the vision that envisions an enforcement system that does broadly look like the system we have today, just with more resources involved with it. But there's also a real possibility that we do go down the Stephen Miller path, that President-elect Trump does deputize the National Guard, that they do start building dozens of new detention centers. And whose vision is going to win the day remains to be seen, right?